Another day, another session of trying to make this drum and bass Radiohead track have the drop hit a little bit better. A friend of mine sent me an idea they had after watching one of the episodes, and so I tried to implement it here. I'm just going to kind of play this song through from the beginning. We did add a sub bass in as well, so you'll be able to hear kind of the way we transition into the drop, and also hear that sub bass. Here it goes. Rest of the piece in other episodes where we talked about the Radiohead drum and bass, but I do love that drop much better now. It was it just always kind of felt like it was kind of missing something, and this is kind of like that extra measure that kind of draws out the energy and has kind of that almost not, it's not a false drop, but like, you know, like a build up and then like a little bit of extra build up, but where you like lose a lot of texture. Definitely helps transition us into the drop that is more sparse, more minimal in a way that is a little bit less jarring. I don't know. It just kind of felt like it was coming out of left field, not in a way that was like ooh, but in a way that was like you didn't like realize where you were until you were past the moment of impact. And this really helps highlight it there. There's a few things that we're doing. The main thing is this this sound of kind of a vocal swell. That leads into a sub drop. Just that sort of sound. And we have these kind of like popping, those little popping sounds in between, because I have them just on separate tracks here where I could probably do this with automation and maybe be a little bit cleaner. But the pops also like come at moments when the pop doesn't matter, it's not bad. This one is where all of our other stuff drops out, so it brings it up in volume, so that the swell becomes kind of the main thing you're hearing. And then here is where the distorted mechanicus bass kicks in. That sound starts, and so that's a very, very clicky sound, and I just wanted it to be in the background. I'm still not quite certain if I want to have like it at full volume stick around, or if I want to have it drop off like this, or want to have it just down there at that volume there, or have it actually stop, because we could also have the sub bass just like literally and like not be there when the teka is happening. But yeah, like those two elements combined to make this drop really, really powerful. And there's also this little extra angel break being thrown in here. This was actually something I would have never thought of doing, is just like throwing a little extra beat there on this little extra measure. This sort of measure is not a thing that my brain naturally thinks to do, so I love trying to make this one here. But the little demo my friend sent over, who's a self-proclaimed not much of a musician, but they just kind of like slammed some stems together from some pieces, and that they had this little bit of drums in there, and I was like, I don't know, it really helps sell that moment. So you get kind of the changes in texture between the vocal swell and then the sub drop, and then the synth coming in, and then the actual drop is pretty cool. So I also thought about having this angel break continuing on afterwards, but it's such a bright texture, even when I kind of like crank it down into just a very specific section. If we turn it on, maybe it's just my ears being used to the rest of the track and having been worked on it for so long that this really stands out here. I tried putting a tremolo on it and kind of on an eighth note pattern, a little bit kind of off the main groove, and you know, not fully deep there, just to create a little bit more of a pocket. Then it was kind of doing the same thing this flute one's doing. I don't know. Not quite. They're in the spots they're in. I don't know if this is necessary, was the main thing. So I just kind of turned it off. And then I do have it coming back in kind of the second half of the drop, where the texture needs to be a lot more detailed and filled in. I think it works there. This little vocal swell thing is a thing we made by hand. This was a synth of the choir here. We've talked about this tool before. This is the Originals Epic Choir by Spitfire Audio. And then it rings out for a while. We just took that sound, bounced it, reversed it, and then stuck some OTT on top of it, and then also notably carved out some frequencies here. I just wanted it to have this kind of like really flat poppy sort of sound to it, not have. I didn't want to have like the full body of a choir, so we actually really pulling out the fundamentals that are here. Let's turn off this guy down here. Get a little bit more flat of a response there if you turn off this EQ. There's just a lot more. Those frequencies kind of pop out. This helped make it just flatten it out, make it more of an effect. The sub drop was something we grabbed off of Splice. Didn't need to reinvent the wheel on that sound. And all of that combines to give us a drop I'm much more happy with. The sub, I do think, actually is making a big difference here in the beginning too. If I turn off the sub. Here, come in there. This guy here. Turn him off, he goes away. The one big problem we have right now is I am definitely peaking out everything. It's all up there, pretty loud. I think it even gets up to like 5 at some point. I don't know, maybe it's not that bad. I don't have any sort of limiting on here right now, so I tried doing some wave shaper before. I want to get a better chain for that. But I did also work on mixing the beginning here and kind of bringing up the volume of the beginning. The beginning was just so much quieter than the drop, and I liked where the drop was at, and I'd rather kind of have everything at the same level so I can kind of bring it all up or down. But yeah, worked on the drop, made it sound a little bit better. That's all we did today. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.